Hey, my beautiful souls, welcome back to another episode of Exploring Your Inner Love with Sasha Ridley. So, today we're going to be talking about how you can apologize to yourself, right? And I feel like this topic is not talked about enough because we grew up in a society where we had to get everything right. And if we didn't get it right, then we were wrong, we made a mistake, and we unintentionally harvest the the shame of being wrong, the shame of making a mistake, and we harvest those emotions in our bodies. But we were never taught how to properly or effectively forgive ourselves from making those mistakes, right? And I feel like this instinct comes from school. And I feel like we all, like every last one of us, could relate back to how when we were in school, if we got something right, that was the positive um enforcements, that was the positive feedback. But the moment we got something wrong, or the moment we made a mistake, it was as if we broke a crown, you know? And I think that whole idea is it was strategically created so that you can be an insecure person, or be a person that deals with criticism, you know um if you feel what I'm saying. But I feel as though, like, you're never making a mistake, because if you really think about it, and this is what's going to go into number 1, is that you have to accept the fact that you're learning. And when we were in school, especially at the time period, that our age from when we started school to when we ended school, we were learning. We were learning how to do everything that was in front of us. So it's absolutely no way you expect me to hear something the first time and then expect for me to perform or to commit to your standard or to act to your expectation. Like, it's no way you expect me to fulfill your expectations when I'm still in a period of learning. And even beyond school, right? Because now that we're an adult, we we make mistakes every single day. But yet when it comes down to kids, when kids make a mistake, it's like, oh, the world has ended. You're wrong. You're a bad person. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. Instead, you should have did X, Y, and Z. But when adults make mistakes, it's cool. It's okay. You have to suffer the consequence to the certain extent of to the mistake that you made. But I just feel as though, like, it's not fair. It's not fair. And that was the whole purpose of me making this video, is to talk about how you have to learn how to apologize to yourself, because you're walking around with a lot of shame, a lot of embarrassment, and a lot of guilt from the mistakes that you've made. And it shouldn't be that way, right? So, like I said, number 1 is to accept the fact that you're still learning. Like, you're going to continue to learn until you leave this place. So when it comes down to you engaging in things, you have to have this open mindset of, I may get it right, I may get it wrong, I may know this, I may not, and that's okay. That is okay. That is okay. Somehow, some way, we have to learn how to reprogram our subconscious mind when it comes down to learning things, when it comes down to making a mistake. Because I feel as though there's no such thing as a mistake. There's no such thing as a mistake. It may be a lesson. You learned something, and that's the whole idea of learning, is that you did something wrong, and it's not necessarily you did something wrong. And I feel like that's the part of where, like, we have to create some type of system to change the whole idea of you did something right and you did something wrong. the whole idea, those two words, I feel like it should be like eliminated from, it should be eliminated from the subject of learning, because I feel as though there's no such thing as right as wrong when someone is learning. Now maybe there's an appropriate way. I feel like you can give people appropriate advice, or you can give people um appropriate steps and tools to, like, maybe solving something, or how to go on about life. But I feel like there's no right or wrong. There's no wrong. Put it like that. There's no wrong. Because I feel like the way I handle things is right, and the way someone else handle things is right as well. And what my right may be your wrong, and what your wrong may be my right. So I feel as though we just have to reprogram our subconscious mind on how we view right and wrong, especially when it comes down to learning. So the second thing I want you to do is I want you to have this mental conversation with yourself. And I want you to tell yourself that you're still learning. Right? Because that's what you're doing. Like, you're still learning. And like I said, you're going to be learning until the day you die. So be able to connect with your inner self, with your inner child, and tell him or her that, I forgive you for, harvesting the anger, the embarrassment, the sadness, the guilt, and I release it because I didn't know any better. I was still learning. I didn't know how to handle that situation. Had somebody taught me how to set boundaries when I was a child, maybe I would have never entered a situation where someone took advantage of me. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that we wasn't taught growing up, right? I feel like it's a lot of stuff that we was taught that was just completely unnecessary, but it was just taught to us just to waste our time and just to fill our brains up with a lot of nonsense, instead of giving us the proper advice, tools, or wisdom. That's another conversation for another day. But I feel as though you have to learn how to be gentle with yourself and accept the fact that you wasn't taught everything you were supposed to be taught when you were a child. And you're still not gonna you're still not gonna be able to be taught everything it is that you need to know as an adult. Like, as you go through experiences, you're learning. You're still learning. And you have some people right now that's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. Some people that done passed away, for an example, that don't know how to set boundaries. It's because they didn't give themselves the opportunity to learn. It's because there was no one in their life or in their circle that told them, that identified the fact that they need to set boundaries and told them how to set boundaries. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that, we may learn, or that, we may, dibble dabble in it, and there's a lot of things that we may not. But in the meantime, between time, I don't think it's fair that you get to walk around with so much of animosity, so much of regret, so much of hate, so much of embarrassment and anger in you, because you don't know how to apologize to yourself, or because you don't know how to forgive yourself over the things that you've experienced in your life, right? So everything that we've experienced is all a part of the experience. Like, it's all a part of the game. To me, I truly think life is the game, but it's all a part of the experience. And you have to get to a point to where you have to apologize to yourself and say, you know what, I apologize from harvesting all of these emotions. I apologize from not knowing how to handle that situation, and treating myself with so much anger and hurt and frustration. I apologize for just not knowing, not being able to show up for myself. And once you're able to identify what it is that hurt your feelings, or once you're able to identify why you're apologizing to yourself, set healthy boundaries moving forward, so that you don't have to keep finding yourself in a cycle of apologizing to yourself, and just keep finding yourself in a cycle of of why am I constantly doing this? Why am I keep finding myself in the same situation over and over and over again? Set those boundaries. And I have a video on my channel, if you scroll all the way down, on how to set boundaries. But it's so important that the relationship that you have with yourself, that you have boundaries, not only for other people, but for yourself. Because there's some certain lines you can't cross, because you have so much of love and so much of respect for yourself, to where it's like, I can't do that. Because if I do that, then that says a lot about me. And not in the instinct of that says a lot about me and I don't want other people to judge me based on that. No, it says a lot about me, about the fact that I've done so much of work within myself to where I can't cross that boundary. Because if I cross that boundary, then all of the work that I've done with myself is going to go down the drain. You get what I'm saying? So learn how to be gentle with yourself. Learn how to accept the fact that you are still learning. Learn how to forgive yourself for the things that you did not know. You didn't know. You didn't know how to handle that situation. You didn't. So accept the fact that you didn't know and forgive yourself from not knowing how to handle that situation. And then you don't even have to forgive yourself from not knowing. I feel like you should be able to forgive yourself. If you knew you did something you had no business doing, then yeah, forgive yourself from even engaging in stuff that you knew you shouldn't have been engaging in. But if you didn't know, you didn't know. You didn't know. And that's that. It's no other way around that. So just tell yourself, like, I didn't know. You know what, next time, if this experience or this opportunity presents itself, I know moving forward, I know what to do. And even if you don't do it, like, that's on you, baby. That's on you. This is all about you. You exploring your inner love. This is your journey and this is your life. As long as you know how to apologize, and as long as you get to a point within your life where you say, you know what, I don't want to hold this all around. I don't want to hold this within me, and I want to apologize to myself and I want to forgive myself. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. So, as always, y'all, you deserve to explore the best side of you. You deserve to apologize to yourself. You deserve that. You deserve to forgive yourself. You deserve to be gentle with yourself as you go through life, because we all don't know. We don't know what the rest of the day hold. We don't know what tomorrow hold. We don't know what next year hold. We all just in the same boat, just out here, just confused, lost, don't know what's going on, and that's okay. Shit, I like it that way, to be honest with you. But that was today's topic, and I'm 1,000% sure it's gonna reach the people that it's supposed to reach. And don't forget to be gentle and kind with yourself. I'll see you guys at another video.